House Cindy Bryan, candidate for House District 91. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Paul.
It's good
Thank
to
you
have
for
you.
having us.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it very, very much. Shock poll. One of the worst things that we can do as, I think, conservatives in this state is to say we can't win this or we can't win that. District 91 is a perfect example of that.
Sure it is. And I think that early on, a lot of people said that a Republican couldn't win in that district, Paul, and I think that they were just dead wrong. I think that the problem is that no party has ever really polled that district before. Mm-hmm. And because the district is a majority of minority, both parties have taken for granted that it's Democrat control. But this poll clearly showed that only 42% of the people polled considered themselves a Democrat.
Well, and I was reading that poll, and it was interesting that even in a heavily Democratic area, some of them don't want to say, "No, I've gone from Democrat to Republicans," but they'll make that switch from Democrat to "I'm an independent," or "I may be a Republican," or "I'm just conservative, but I ain't Democrat."
That's right. That's right. And I think that's because a lot of people have lost trust in that Democrat Party leadership. People are more involved in looking at the issues, and they're looking more, Paul, I think, as who will be the best candidate and who's going to serve the people. Yeah. I think they're more concerned about that.
Well, let me say this. In November after the election, if we find out that Cindy Bryan, Republican candidate for House District 91, unseats Democrat Bob Evans, there will be at least the 3.8 Richter shake across that area of the state.
Well, I think so, but I think I've known this all along. But it just took the fact that we had to do a scientific approach of doing a poll to find this out.
All right, now this poll found you ahead?
It did, 9-point lead.
Now, I don't know what the questions are, and was it a biased poll, or do you think it was as fair as possible?
I think it was as fair as possible. We didn't, and I did my poll. It wasn't a robo poll or anything like that. We actually had people talking to the people, and we just asked basically, did they consider themselves a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent? And the other thing that we asked them was, if they had to vote today, would they vote for me or would they vote for my opponent? And then the last question that we asked them was, what was the major issue that was driving their vote? And overall, that issue, number one, was jobs and the economy. I think that the Democrat Party has driven home the fact that they believe that health care and education is the number one priority with people, but it's really not. Not in my district. It's jobs and the economy.
I think that's changing statewide. I think a lot of people, maybe because of talk radio,
well,
maybe because of the internet, but people understand we have done everything we possibly could within the financial limitations we have in funding education. And we have people like the Parents Campaign who have become a tool of the Democrat Party, to be honest with you. Now, I'll bet you, and I think it is, I think he received near 100. Bob Evans, your opponent, got 100 rating, perfect rating, in the last legislative campaign, according to the Parents Campaign.
Well, he has pushed strongly to fund education 100%. He
regardless of what kind of money we have and some of the bills, but every bill that was endorsed by the Nancy Loom organization, he voted for it.
Yes,
even some preliminary bills that later did pass, but were not, as many people said, in the correct version. Anything they wanted, he voted for.
That's right.
Even if it had to take the money out of rainy day fund. All right, so in the same respect, BIPEC, I think he got an F.
He did, and he's been anti-business all along, and I think that that's one message that the district is looking at, because this district needs jobs, and the economy is bad there, and you just can't be anti-business in a district that needs industry and jobs coming into it.
And I'm looking at District 91. She's giving me a map here. Cindy Bryan's my guest. That's a squirrely map. I mean, that thing goes all over the place. Looks like a crab.
Looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, it does.
They have cut in and out to just affect what they want it to reflect.
So it's based on the numbers in the demos. It favors the Democrats.
It was supposed to. Yes.
It was supposed to. Maybe they could take care of that in redistricting. But are there some changes? Have you seen the proposed map as far as redistricting?
Well, I looked at the proposed map the last time, and it didn't change a whole lot.
Yeah.
If anything, it took in just a little bit more to make it a little bit more Democratic.
Who is Cindy Bryan? I mean, a little bit about you for the voters out there who may not know you.
Well, Paul, I'm a dental hygienist. I have been practicing for almost 30 years. I graduated from the University of Mississippi Medical Center in 1983. I married my high school sweetheart from New Hebron, and he went to the Naval Academy, and we lived away from home for a number of years. We moved back there about 12 years ago, and we made that our home. And I got involved in politics then. Mm-hmm. Ran for alderwoman, served on the town board, and then after that served as mayor for 4 years.
So you've served as an alderman and as a mayor?
Yes, I have. 8 years.
So some political experience as far as administration is concerned.
Yes, sure.
Let me get to the phones. Jefferson Davis County, it's George. George, good Monday to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Paul. I got a question for Miss Sidney there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Miss Sidney, parts of Jefferson Davis County is part of your district, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. What plans, if elected, what plans do you have for Jefferson Davis County? I mean, how would the voters benefit?
Well, George,
thank you, George. If you don't mind, hang up and listen, because Jeff Davis County is one of the counties that the unemployment rate is just ridiculously high.
George, I've addressed that, and I'm glad that you asked that question. One thing that I feel like we're lacking in South Mississippi is a leadership to work with the leadership in Jackson to bring jobs and industry into our part of the state. If you look at in the past over the last year. Most of the jobs have gone to North Mississippi, and I believe that shows that they are working together with their officials, with the Board of Supervisors, and they're working together with those types of offices to bring industry into their area. And what we've got to do in South Mississippi is do the same thing. We've got to work across the board with the supervisors, with the Board of Aldermen in the towns, and we've got to form a rural coalition of legislators to bring jobs into that part of the country.
Certainly the current incumbent, I'm not sure how long Bob Evans has been in there.
Just 4 years.
4 years. The bills that he's introduced so far are not going to be conducive for Jeff Davis County. I take a look at House Bill 156, an act to enact the Fair Pay Act of 2011 to make legislative findings to require employers to pay equivalent pay for equivalent jobs, to prohibit certain actions by employers, to mandate the keeping of records and related purposes. In other words, if you're a small business and you want to operate in Jeff Davis County, if this bill passed, and it did not, it died in committee, would have caused more red tape and more cost to the employers.
It sure would have.
So, I mean, to answer his question, one of the ways is to make it more attractive to do business there.
That's exactly right. We've got to make the small businessman, because that is what normally the biggest majority of employers in District 91 are small employers. I think some of the major industries that we have is Georgia Pacific. We've got Atlas Industries. We've got a few more that are, but those are probably some of the bigger employers. But we've got tons of small businesses that employ from 10 to 25 people, and those are the people that we really need to be helping.
Yeah. And if you sit down, Cindy, and you ask them, what do you guys need to increase, to expand, to make sure you stay here, they're all going to say the same thing. Make it easier for us to do this.
That's right.
Cut some of the regulation. Give us a chance to keep a little bit more of our money so we can hire more people and grow the business. We'll make more money, but we'll hire more people, and ultimately the state will pay more taxes. In Bob Evans being anti-business, and I just read you one of the bill. Here's another one, House Bill 175. He penned this one last session. An act to amend House Section 2775, Code 1972, to increase the rate of the state income tax by providing that all taxable income in excess of $15,000 shall be taxed at a rate of 6% and for related purposes. I think he wanted more land taxed levied against that to be collected and paid for hereinafter provided for the calendar year, and it goes on and on and on. On the first $5,000, pay $5,000 of taxable income, and you can read it yourself. It's still on the website at 175, House Bill 175. But these are the types of bills that hurt small businesses and any kind of business, Cindy.
Well, it is, Paul, and I think that the people in District 91 are really asking themselves right now, can we afford another 4 years of my opponent being in office? And I think that's why there's so many people who are undecided right now. We've got 42% that's undecided right now.
42%?
42.
Well, it's a lot of shoe leather. You got to get out there and shake hands and change minds.
I'm telling you, we've got to hit it door to door, and we're going to be out there asking people the question. And it has amazed me that people do want to work. People want to work. They want to have a chance to be able to better themselves and better their families. They want a job.
I think I've heard it from more than one source that some people say he is the most dangerous liberal in the House of Representatives because there is nothing off the table with this guy as far as taxes or several other things as far as Bob Evans. And as a lawyer, he's made that point very clear many times.
Well, he has, and I think that people are looking for a positive candidate who will have a vision for growth and economy in that district. They want positive, and that's the complete opposite than what we've got right now.
Some of the communities that is in District 91 that we may not. You said New Hebron?
New Hebron's one, Monticello. We've got Prentice. We've got Silver Creek. We've got Shivers, we've got Bridgeport, Rockport, Georgetown. They're really small rural communities. A lot of good people live down there, Paul.
I don't know what the population base is, but it's spread out quite wide over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties, 9 counties.
Well, it's part of 5 counties there.
Five
about
counties.
22,000 people.
That is a jigsaw puzzle.
It is.
Folks, Cindy Bryan, she's going to be knocking on your door if you're in District 91. Ask her questions. Take a look at it. One of the ways for us to reclaim the House of Representatives is to know who our candidates are, make some decisions out there. Anything else?
Well, Paul, one thing that I'd like to say is, along with those lines, I've told people this before, is that I am going to stand for what is right. And I think that people are looking for a candidate who is not going to be on the fence about things. Mm-hmm. I do have strong moral and Christian beliefs, and I tell people I'm not ashamed of the gospel, and I am going to stand for what's right in God's eyes. I do have a moral compass, and I'm going to be on one side or the other side of the fence.
Okay. On all 3 initiatives, how do you stand?
Well, I'm for the eminent domain issue. Mm-hmm. I am for the I am pro life. Mm-hmm. I will be voting for the amendment on Amendment 26.
And the voter ID?
And voter ID. I'm also going to, I stand positive on that.
You've gotten, I think you were even called a racist because you spoke, God forbid, at a Tea Party gathering.
Yeah, Paul.
Who called you a racist?
Well, there's a group down in South Mississippi that are doing these political forums, and they have asked me, have I attended a Tea Party meeting? And I've attended all kinds of meetings. I have attended Tea Party meetings. I've attended NAACP meetings. I've attended Exchange Club meetings and civic organization meetings. And I want to be out there where the people are.
But if you attend a Tea Party meeting, they are branding this almost now like the Klan, even though they're several, if not a pretty good gathering of African Americans who also attend across the state.
That's exactly right.
It is amazing.
It is.
Cindy's good to meet you. Cindy Bryan, candidate for House District 91. Keep us informed what's going on.